Okay, YouTubers. The other day I did a Santa Fe, not this one. It was a GP38, an SNS SD40-2, and I installed a Tsunami Soundtrax, and I also installed the Soundtrax Current Keeper. I've done a steam locomotive, but today I've been working on another SD40-2. So it's Chicago Northwestern, and I've already stripped it down. And one of the things I do, I don't like the system they use for these things, which is, there's nothing wrong with the decoder they use, but it has to sit on these rails, and what you get to use is these little tiny points. And they've just got to sit on this rail someplace and make contact. And I just, that's kind of a weak excuse for trying to get something to work. So I take it apart, and I think you can see, maybe, if I do this right, inside there you can kind of see these holes that go along the sides that are covered up by the walkway. And in there, right down in there, I don't think you can see it, but anyway, I cut off a piece of the pickup that goes to the wheels, and then I solder on wires. And they gotta be small, and these are small. These are speaker wires, but they're plenty strong enough to do what we need to do here, because as these trucks move, if it's a fat wire, they won't make it. The other thing I've done is I've opened up, I've taken off the cab, and I've gone in and trimmed off the points where the weight goes, and these points up here that hold the forward light, because I've modified the forward light, or the aft light I should say, the rear light. I've modified it so it's very short, and I've shrunk a piece of shrink on it because I'm going to stick a 3mm bright white that has a little bit of yellow glow to it. It's kind of like the golden glows or the yellow glows. And the front light, I've cut it off the same, because it's got to go through here and up to the cab, and of course the cab is on it along with the engineer and the conductor who I've installed. Then, because these are 1.5 volts, and I'm going to use the TCS WOW diesel. This is the 1533, which is a WOW 101-KA diesel, so it has the decoder, and it also has the KA2, which gets you up to 20 seconds of time if you have a bad track or you lose your current. So they're hooked up, and to make this work I've taken a bunch of measurements, but this thing's going to go, you can see there's kind of like a ledge down in here, and it's too wide for the speaker, so I put this guy in upside down, and I've taken an Apple subwoofer. They look like this when I get them, and as you can see I've cut off the end of this one because I want it to go in here and give me a little more room that will go. Well, I've got to trim this off yet. I haven't gone back and sanded down that piece of plastic I put on the end to close the speaker out. So it'll go down in there, and then that allows the KA to go up front along with the light when I put the light in. So just kind of a overview of what I'm going to have to do here, and then when I get down some of this in place where I need 2 hands to do it, we'll come back. But I'm anxious to see this thing put together and operate, and then you can compare it to the Soundtrax, what was it, 48 with the current keeper and the GP38 that I put on YouTube a couple nights ago. And you get to choose for yourself which of these are better. The price that I had to pay for the decoder, the Soundtrax decoder and the current keeper for the GP38 was $100. And I can find these TCS Y101KA's diesels, just like this one, for about $92. So it's a little bit less expensive. They're good. You get twice as much time if you have a problem with the track, which I don't know why you'd ever need more than 10 seconds, but if you have 20 seconds, that's just twice as much. The sound is the same. I'm using the same speakers basically, making room for them. This is a little bit easier than the other one. I have to cut off a lot of metal, but I did have to take out the top weight, this guy here, which is about 2 ounces. But I'm going to add some weight with the decoders and the speaker and stuff, nowhere near that much, but this is a heavy chassis. It really is. It's really heavy. So I'm not too worried about my traction power with this thing. So we'll get back to this a little bit. Okay, so she's all wired. As you can see, I use these little clothespins to basically hold things in place while the adhesive sets. I've got those wires right there. You can see just the bonding right there. The stay alive is in place. It's bonded here and here to make sure. And the decoder is under the speaker. The lights are both installed. Because they're a 3mm 1.5 volt, and we're going to get 12 volts out of this system, I use a 620 ohm resistor. Following the formula, it needs to be at least 580. So, and it's pretty easy. You take the source voltage, which in this case is like 14.8, but I just use like 13 volts, and subtract the user voltage, which is 1.5, then you divide that by 0.02, and that comes out 580. Then I use a 620 ohm resistor. That'll protect the LEDs that are in there. So it's all wired. The motor leads I think are right, the gray on the right and the orange on the left. I'll know that as soon as I test it in a few minutes. Everything's set up. The speaker is not bonded in. I'll probably do that at the end with just maybe one drop of adhesive on both sides, like here and on the other side over here. So let me put it together and then we'll see how it operates. Okay, so it's wired, and yes, it's a conglomeration to make life really interesting for those of us that are color challenged, and I mean vision. The schematic shows the wiring diagram, and it says you have 2 purple wires, you have a pink, a brown, and then you have a blue and a black and white. So there's 6 wires. So you go to this one, and it's got 7 wires. Just to make life fun, I suppose. And this one has 2 purple wires. This one, if I can find it now, has 6 wires, like the schematic. Actually, it has 7. I see the 7th wire. So it's nothing like what it showed. And it shows, I think there's 7 wires there. Is there? Let's take a look. I've got. Okay, it tells you this is just a reference. It says diagram drawn for clarity. Wire decoder per the written wire colors. The wires on your decoder will not be lined up the same as the diagram. Oh my goodness. So this is the one I just opened. It's a second one, and as you can see, it's got a purple, blue, black and white. Then I guess that's salmon, pink, and brown. This guy, the one I have to use, is a purple, different shade of purple, a blue, black and white, salmon, pink, and brown. So I'm left to guess that the purple and almost purple are the speaker wires, but I have to have my wife come in, who has very good color vision, and tell me if I'm right before I hook all this up. These are new, and they're basically getting their act together, and I really like them. I don't have a problem with that. They've been out for about a year or so, so God only knows when these were made, but it looks like they were using a little bit different colors, and it kind of confuses me, especially with the color deficiency, basically in the blues and greens, and of course purples have blue in them, so that gets me. So I'll have my wife take a look at this when she gets off the phone, and then I'll put all this together, and then we'll get back to this and then see how it runs. Okay, she's confirmed that, yeah, there are 2 shades of purple, but they're purple. So that challenge is over. Now I've put just a couple drops of, it's kind of like RZC56, which I guess is not available any longer, just to hold the decoder in place. It's got wires under it, but it'll still leave me plenty of room. And the bonding agent I use today is this Formula 560. I don't like it as much. It's harder to get off, but it works, and it's crystal clear, so it's kind of nice. It takes a little less time, I think, to cure than the RZC56, but for whatever reason they quit making that, I don't know. But it is a canopy glue, so it works pretty good. Okay, we're all together. The purple and almost purple are hooked up. The motor leads are correct. Orange on the right and gray on the left. And it's time to put the shell on temporarily and give this thing a trial run and see if it's going to function before I spend the next 2 or 3 hours putting all the little bits and pieces on this summer. I hate doing that. Big fat fingers just have a tough time. But as you can see, the Stay Alive is in there, the speaker is in place, the decoder is beneath it, the lights are in, the wires have been tucked. I cut the Stay Alive wires. It took about, I don't know, 2 inches out of them, and then spliced them together so I wouldn't have a ton of wire hanging around. And other wires are very carefully tucked and stowed inside, including the extra 3 wires, the whatever the colors are, brown and salmon and pink, in case someone later wants to put ditch lights or whatever on this thing. It has a ton of options you can do. So let's put the shell on and put it on the track and see what it does. Okay, she's all together. Give her a little bit of start here. And bring her to a stop. Brake release. Cool. No wonder I couldn't get away from it. Anyway, I've got all the parts on her. Everything fit really, really nice. The only thing she's missing is the brake wheel. So the last one came in missing an antenna, it had a hole for it, and this one I get with no brake wheel. Oh well, I've got brake wheels, so I'll install one. I just got to figure out where I put them, but I know I've got them. I've got a box full of parts, brand new, that I just need to go find the right brake wheel for it. And I'll probably paint it. They typically aren't, but I think I'll paint this one. So anyway, let's put her in reverse. Warn them we're coming. runaway train. Put it back and forward. Give it a little light. Hear a little bell. I like that horn. So she's running good, she's smooth. Can't ask for much more than that. Got in reverse. Go back and forward one more time. Ain't that sweet? Okay. Now if I only knew how to shut her down.
GE45 tonner, single chime.
She's got a lot of different horns.
GE80 tonner, single chime.
But I'm not playing them. There they are.
GE U-boat, 3 chime. Leslie 125. Leslie 200, single note. Leslie 3 chime. Leslie RS3. Leslie RS3L. Leslie RS5T. Nathan K3. Nathan K3H. Nathan K3H. Nathan K3LA. Nathan K3LL. Nathan K5H. Nathan K5HL. Nathan K5LA. Nathan K5LA. Nathan K5LLA. Nathan M3. Nathan M3. Nathan M3. Nathan M3 tilt. Nathan M5. Nathan P3. Nathan P5A. Quincy Railroad, SW8, number 1100, 3 chime. Southern Pacific Alco RSD12, number Wabco 2 chime from Wabco E2 3 chime. Fairbanks Morse Nathan 3 chime. GE 45 tonner single chime. GE 80 tonner single chime. GE U-boat 3 chime. Leslie 125. Leslie 200 single note. Leslie 3 chime. Leslie RS3.
I think we've gone through on them, so enough. Anyway, that's what she looks like, what she sounds like, so, and how we got it together. So I hope that's informative and maybe help you do yours, or maybe inspire you to let me do it. So either way, the only problem I usually have is putting all those little bitty grab irons on. I hate those things. I usually lose 2 or 3. I got them all on this one, but no spares, and usually have 1 spare, but not when the tweezers can flip one in the infinity. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll do something different next time.